Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
Hello everybody. Welcome to this not rainy Tuesday afternoon here in beautiful Southern California, downtown Burbank. Welcome to Balanced Life with me, Debbie Carlin Boyle. That's conversations connecting to a healthier you, which I hope you are doing every day, trying to be a healthier version of yourself. And I have a great show for you today and a great guest. I want to let you know that if you go to my Facebook page, Fit by Design, you can ask a question, make a comment, get involved in the conversation, or you can call, and I forgot the phone number here, but it's 323-286... 284-5726. There it is. I know that number. So call in, because you might know someone or you yourself might be going through what we're talking about today. And if you call in or ask a question, we could probably give you some feedback that's going to help you. So to start, I want to give you a few statistics. In the past year alone, 6.7% of all adults in the U.S. have experienced depression. 50% of that number has been diagnosed with anxiety disorder. It's estimated that 15% of that population of all population will experience depression at some point in their life. So my guest today, Julia Broglie, is doing something about it. Julia is the creator and the founder of the Broglie Box. Julia was inspired to create the Broglie Box after experiencing her own mental challenges as a young adult and losing her brother to suicide when he was just 24. Both Julia and her brother struggled with depression, anxiety, and OCD. After her brother's passing, Julia was inspired to deliver and support and connect a connection to others who were struggling with stress or mental illness in today's fast-paced world. To share with us her story and tell us all about the wonderful things she's doing to support so many people who are struggling as she did, will you please welcome to my show, Julia Broglie. Did I say it right?
You did.
Is that right?
Yay.
Perfect. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Happy
for
to be
coming.
here.
I'm really, you're just such a light, you know? You really light up a room with your beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
And it's really hard to tell by looking at you that someone like you could have gone through such a terrible time in your life of depression.
Yeah.
And so let's just sort of start from the beginning when it all started creeping in, and why and how, and what happened and how you got to where you're today with this beautiful box that you've created.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, sometimes you don't always realize what someone is going through by just looking at them, because they put up a mask, they put up an outer shell to protect themselves. And in my case, I was always embarrassed to talk about what I was going through, especially because I had everything. I still have, I have everything. I have great parents, awesome family, great friends.
You didn't think you had the right.
Yeah, I didn't have the right.
Yeah.
There's people out there that have a lot worse than me. So
Right.
I didn't understand how I could feel so bad and feel so sad and empty. And actually, that's quite common. There's so many people out there that feel the same way. They can't understand what's going on, and they don't talk about it because they feel like they don't have the right. So in my case and in my brother's case as well, we always talked about, we have everything. Why do we feel so sad?
And you're suffering in silence.
You're suffering in silence, yeah. So, and in his case, unfortunately, it was a lot more serious, and he passed away by suicide almost 5 years ago now.
Now, did he talk to you about any of his pain or suffering? Were you aware of it since you were kind of going through the same thing?
Yes, he actually was very open about his mental health.
Oh, he was.
unlike me, where I kind of kept everything to myself, he was very open, and my parents and I, we knew what was going on, but we never thought that it would actually go to that. You know, you don't think that someone who you love, when they say that they're thinking about killing themselves, it's hard to take that not seriously. That's not the right word. We were out there trying to find him help and everything. But you never actually think it's going to come to that. So unfortunately, in his case, it did. But we were aware a little bit of what was going on. So it's just just a bad situation.
Didn't let on quite as much as what he was feeling inside.
Exactly.
Because maybe he didn't want to be stopped, or felt like he would bring the rest of the family down with him. And
exactly.
I mean, so many variables, it's so hard to know. But
and that day
so
that he
tragic.
died, he was so happy. And
oh no.
Well, earlier the day he wasn't, but he made it seem like he was fine.
Oh, so he put on.
And there was a little bit of planning involved. So it was.
Did he leave any notes or anything?
He did. He left 2 notes, and he texted all of us before. Well, my parents and I, my older brother and I, and a couple friends. He sent a text, and I was actually at work at the time, so I, saw this text message come in on my phone, and immediately knew. So I started calling him. All the lines were blocked. Yeah. Anyway.
Honey, I don't want you to have to.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Wow, that's very difficult and very tough.
Yeah.
Were you close here in the city, or was you a distance away from him?
He lived in Philadelphia at the time, and I was living in Pittsburgh, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
I was just about a year out of college. And he was 2 years out of college. We were 18 months apart. So he went to school in Philly, and so he stayed there after he graduated, and I went back home from University of Delaware, back home to Pittsburgh.
So you guys weren't that
same,
close proximity-wise to be able to get there.
But we moved him home the last 3 months of his life. Because
to get help.
My parents picked up that something was really, really wrong, and so they moved him home. So he was actually home. So I got to spend the last 3 months with him.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I for our viewers and somewhat for myself. Now, I personally don't struggle with depression, but so many people, being in the field I'm in, I help people that do struggle with depression sort of get out of it through a lot of what you're doing, through self-care, understanding that they are loved, and how to find the ways to love themselves and eventually love their life and find joy in purpose. But I was wondering if you don't mind, if you would talk a little bit about when you realized what was going on for yourself, and that you were depressed, and that this doom and gloom sort of feeling, how old you were, or how long?
It started for me in high school. I think I'm such a perfectionist, and definitely have some qualities that are associated with OCD, where I was constantly putting this self-pressure to be the best, to achieve, and it wasn't coming from any other source. It's not like my parents were pressuring me or anything. It was all internal, and because of that anxiety to make sure everything was perfect, it just built up. And so I experienced a little bit of that in high school, and then I chose to study chemical engineering in college, which is very challenging. And, I had to work really, really hard at that. It didn't come easy to me. And so again, just that self-pressure and then even halfway through college, I realized I don't think this is really what I want to do, but I'm not doing bad, and I know I can do well in it, and I know I can have a job. So I just kept kind of
plugging away.
Yeah. So, and in college, I experienced a really, really bad depression. And looking back now, I realized that it was because of all this anxiety that had built up.
I was going to ask you, the stress and anxiety to finish and do well and make something of it was probably overwhelming for you.
And I wasn't taking care of myself. That's the whole point of Broglie Box, is to put these healthy measures in place so that you get into these habits where you are thinking about, okay, take a step back. Am I thinking about my mental health today?
Yes.
Am I am I taking a break for myself? And, you know, because you have that self-pressure and it ends up getting to be so much worse than it needs
That's
to
right.
be.
It becomes very linear, you know, like you're on this path. It's like you have to start here and you don't win unless you get finished over here. But our lives are a series of spokes of a lot of, you know, lines that have to kind of come together in balance, in alignment.
Definitely.
Things feed us that we have to be, besides food, which is also important, I think, to mental health, because
100%.
there are so many things and additives and crap in food today that...
You are what you eat. Yeah.
Exactly. That can really make you feel bad. And when you feel bad, then you start looking bad. When you look bad, you get depressed. And, you know, it's like you're down. And the opposite happens when you're taking care of yourself. But I can see that if you're in just you stay in one of those sections and you don't let all those other things that we need in life to feed us to find the joy and the purpose, then you could go down that rabbit hole.
Definitely.
And that sounds like what
and in
happens.
college, for me, I went to my mental health resource center and I got put on a 3-month wait list, which is an entire semester.
To see or talk to somebody?
So I had an initial evaluation, and then to have a follow-up with a therapist, it was going to be a 3-month wait list. And from my conversations with other college students, that's a common thread. So people need help, and you know how much it took out of me to actually physically go to some place and say,
admit
like,
that I need
right?
help. That's the hardest thing for anybody to do.
Luckily, so the other thing with Broglie Box is it comes with each box comes with a 30-page mini magazine, and along with articles from mental health experts and doctors, there's also resources. So, you know, at the time, I don't think it existed, and if it did, I didn't know, but now there's online therapy. Ways to find a doctor if you don't have insurance or if you're a student, you know, different apps that are out there that can help you. So we kind of compile everything together and make it available.
In one space.
Where it's right in front of you. You know, there's something to be said about going onto a website and having all these resources. That's great. And we do have a lot of resources on our website. But there's something about getting a package in the mail, and you can touch it, you can feel it, and it's not as overwhelming that, you know, you don't have to search through all these websites and search through all these articles. So
everything's right there. So let's talk about that. Let's jump into Broglie Box and talk about, so it was born from you, also from obviously your personal experience, but from your brother's suicide, really. You wanted to never see that happen again to anybody else, and let people know there are people out there that are paying attention and want to help you. Yeah,
definitely. So after he died, a lot of people were coming to me out of the woodwork to tell me about their own mental health experience. So people were saying, oh, I experienced a depression, this and this helped me, I found a doctor through this and this resource. And so I started collecting all this information, or people were asking me for help. And I'm like, I'm not a mental health expert, but I'm going to do all the research that I can do to be able to try to help, because I know that there's resources out there, and people just need it in a package that is digestible. So that's kind of how the idea came along. I was like, there has to be something that I can do, not as a doctor, not as a mental health expert, but almost become that expert by doing research and compiling all other things that these mental health experts and doctors are doing.
Right.
And kind of put it in front of someone, and even being able to just have almost like a treat for yourself that, okay, I'm gonna have a meditation candle, or I'm gonna put this diffuser on, and when I look at it and I smell it, you know, I'm reminded to check in with myself.
Right.
So there is
kind of
meditative,
reflection. Yeah,
exactly.
Stop and think, mindfulness, those kinds of things that, you know, almost like somebody pinching you or a rubber band snapping you to snap out of something. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and there is science, like massage. There's science behind certain chemicals being released in your body when you get a massage. So, you know, there's a massage roller in the first box, and there's science behind that. But it's also like if you're not a science person, it's kind of like, okay, this is me taking care of myself.
Yeah, simple.
And knowing that there's something going on in the back of my mind, but just having that.
Something that's
front of you.
actually going to benefit you and make you feel better, because feeling better is doing better, is being better. Yeah, absolutely. Which I just love these things. So so you did the research, you had the research going, and then you decided, I want to get a service, an ongoing service where people can either do for themselves or do for others, and send a package 4 times a year, is it?
4 times a year, yes.
That have all these well-researched things in them to get them to feel better and to take better care of themselves.
And each box is different. So all the items from the first quarter will be different in the second quarter's box, which goes out on March 15th.
Okay. So are your quarters set from the time a person orders, or are they just set times?
They're set seasonally.
Yeah,
so
seasonally.
December 15th, March, June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but if somebody orders mid-year, then...
So if they order mid-year, we're currently trying to set up sort of like an editor's box. What some subscription companies do is they have a box that's sort of like an in-between. So if you order, instead of waiting until the next quarter's box, you can get something in between. So that's definitely like in the works, but it's not 100%. Being a small company.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully growing after the show.
Yes.
So how long did it take for you to get this box created and off the ground once, you had the idea to do it?
2 years.
A 2-year process.
Yeah, so it's been about 5 years since Justin died, my brother. And then I've really just dug in after 2 years. So being that perfectionist that I am, I wanted it to be a good quality product. I didn't want to just put something in someone's hands that they're like, okay, this is kind of like Fufu does, Like I want it to actually work and I was very mindful when I was curating each of the items.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, just having your own personal story behind it is so potent, I think, and helpful for people to understand that it's not just you trying to make a buck.
Exactly. And
it's
like
a whole different...
I live this,
Yes,
your
this
anxiety.
is who you are. This is
mental,
you.
It doesn't go away.
Yes.
I mean, I still struggle at times,
but this must make you feel better to be able to help others, is helping yourself at the same time.
I mean,
that's
hope
true
that
for
it helps
many
others.
of us.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I bet it is. I'm sure it is. Let's talk about the box a little bit, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah.
So how many items are in there? And let's talk about the items.
Yeah, so we can go through the box that went out on the first quarter. So there's going to be 6 to 7 items plus the magazine in every box. So the first box had a Pockitude's gratitude journal. So
you can hold it up, and I think it will show on camera. Yeah, there it is.
So it's a really great mini-sized journal that it kind of has prompts to help you go through what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And, I'm not big on journaling. I never really have been. But with a prompt, I find it a lot easier.
I have a book that I give to my health coaching clients.
Oh, nice.
That helps them because they're not the type of people, but it guides you, morning, noon, and night. And you don't have to do it every day, but it gives you the prompts. Same kind of thing, larger scale, but
this one's small, so
you can put it in your pocket.
That's kind of, but I also, there's actually science behind when you write down what you're grateful for, and then read it back. And even I tell people, if they don't feel like writing that day, just go back and look at a past day to see what you wrote before, and it makes you feel good. It makes you think, okay,
I can do this again. I can create that experience again. Yeah, just waking up, even just opening your eyes and saying, what am I going to be grateful for today is something that can just mentally can actually create that day to turn into that 100%. If you say it, So I love that.
Definitely. And physically writing too, there's science behind that process and kind of what it does to your brain.
So that's important.
And then every box will have some sort of item that has to do with fitness. So I'll just hold up this jump rope. So I love the jump rope because it can be thrown in your purse. It can be thrown in your suitcase. You can take it with you. Even if you don't have room, like the ceilings aren't high enough, you could lay it on the ground and jump back and forth. But there's, I think everyone knows at this point that there's a lot of research around physical exercise and what effect it has on the endorphins and everything in your body.
Big
so.
in my world, as you know.
Exactly.
That's
You
who I
know.
am.
You know.
Yeah, and I have to say about a jump rope, I have something about all these things, but I take a jump rope when I travel. I take it wherever I go. I am in my 60s, and I am still jump roping like crazy.
And you look great.
And thank you. But you know, it helps me when I'm down. It helps me when, to keep up on the exercise, because there is science behind the fact that if you are used to the endorphin high and you have 3-4 days down, let's say when I'm traveling, I'll start to get depressed.
Yeah.
I'll start to feel doom and gloom, because I'm addicted to the hormone that we secrete ourselves. Has an addictive component to it.
Yeah.
To the feel good hormone.
And you don't have access to a gym everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an easy
lightweight
way.
in your purse, in your luggage, it stays with you. And there's always places. I'm here to tell you, I've been all over the world with my jump rope.
That's awesome.
So that's why I love it's in there.
Yeah.
And what else have we got?
So we have a massage roller ball. So it's really great if you're giving yourself. I hold a lot of tension in my neck.
Yes, most
and
people
so, do. Or even like on your foot, there's some acupuncture type of studies done.
Yeah.
So this is really great, and you can even put some essential oils on it, and
that's a good idea.
Well.
I've never tried that with that.
So you get like the aromatherapy as well as the.
I love those. They're like marble balls, so they're really soft and they're cool too. They're nice and cool, or you can warm them up.
And it's easier than people are like, tennis ball. But this one actually has something you can hold while you're rolling it. So it's a lot easier,
They're made specifically for massaging.
Exactly. And then a candle. So this one, you can smell it if you want. It smells pretty good.
Oh my gosh, what is that? Serenity candle.
Serenity.
So what's that scent?
It's almost like
so lovely.
Sort of like a meditation candle, or even just, make you feel good. Like this is something for you.
Yep.
We have a mini diffuser in the first box. So it's
cool.
USB powered. So again, like when you're on the go, you can put it in your car, you can put it in your office, and you just fill it with water and then put some essential oils in there and have the essential oil diffuse. So it also came with a eucalyptus essential oil, which is really good for anxiety, but
there's a lot of science behind eucalyptus.
There's tons of science, but also it kind of goes with the time of year. So eucalyptus is also really good for colds and when you're not feeling good, like viruses and stuff. So it actually helps with that as well.
Yep,
exactly. And then tea drops. So these are so cute. They're like, it comes in this cute little box, and then they're almost like bath bombs, but for your tea. So it's a little tiny pre-pressed tea. And you just put it in boiling water. Yeah,
so cool.
And they're really good.
There's a lot of science behind drinking a cup of tea. Lowers your heart rate, soothes you.
Exactly.
Just lowering your heart rate alone will calm you down.
Yep.
Take away some stress and anxiety. You can do that through long, deep breaths and sitting down and really just hovering over a cup of tea, And
then the last physical item in the box was this magnet, and has the suicide prevention hotline number on it.
Look at that.
So you can throw it on your fridge or, wherever. And even if you're not the one who might need it, someone might see it and think, okay, I can open up and talk to this person about it because they're clearly open about this topic.
Yes.
Or, they might need the actual number themselves. So just kind of getting the word out there and breaking the stigma down about
Amazing.
it.
Love
so
it.
I think what you'll see is
doing.
that these items are not for someone that is quote unquote mentally ill. I mean, I think that we all should be putting these practices in place, whether or not you're experiencing
it's a great gift
mental illness.
for my kids,
Exactly.
or
you're maintaining
friends,
your mental health. And then the tagline of our company is from inner pieces to inner peace. So you're feeling like shattered in a million pieces on the inside, and we want you to have inner peace instead of that. So it's kind of putting all that together.
Yeah, inner peace for inner peace. I love that. I absolutely love it. Do you know how fast time just went? Darn it. So what we want to do is we want to get in your website. I also want to say that my website, balancelifebydebbie.com, has a product page, and all of Julia's, these items are on the page. Broglie Box is on there. So you can go there, click it, and go ahead and sign up to give as a gift, even for yourself. Yes. What a gift for yourself that could be. And how else can people reach you?
People can reach us on Instagram, so at the Broglie Box. On Facebook, just facebook.com/the Broglie Box. Twitter at the Broglie Box, or our email is info@brogliebox.com if you have more questions. And then the next box goes out March 15th. So you have now until March 1st to sign up for the next box.
That's perfect. And can you leave my audience with some final words of wisdom, final thoughts?
I guess just hang in there. And even if it's not necessarily mental illness that you're experiencing, but maybe you're just really stressed out and you don't feel normal. I mean, there's other people out there that feel the same way. I'm an example of that. And there's things that you can do to feel better. I think that's the message that we really want to portray, is that it can get better and we're here to help. So, I personally respond to almost every single DM that on Instagram or message that is sent. So if people have questions or just need someone to talk to, I'm definitely here. Yeah.
Wow, Julia. It's amazing what you're doing. Thank you so much
for having me.
I'm so glad to help you get another platform in addition to the other ones you already have to get the word out, because what you're doing is invaluable. So do not hesitate to get in touch. And if you just want to feel good and take care of yourself, go to my product page, go to any of the places that Julia just mentioned, and reach out, because there is help and you are loved. So please remember to connect to a healthier you in any way and every way you can. And we're going to see you next week. Thank you for joining us today. Bye, everybody.